Students, we are reading our chapter We Are Not Afraid to Die. We have read more than half of a chapter and till here we have read that on 5th January or on January 4th there was no change in the weather was almost same, and there was most of the part of the ship was damaged, and still our narrator, he wanted to make everything good by trying so hard. They were pumping water out of the ship for so long time, and they were searching for 2 islands. They were, because that was their last hope for surviving, for to survive there. Why? Because the weather was very much odd. They were not able to sail through the weather, so they have to take a short break till the weather is good. So they have to find out those 2 islands, little islands, into the sea. But the problem is that they were not able to take any mayday calls. They do not receive any mayday call. They do not know exactly where they are and how much far those islands were. They do not know the exact location of the islands, but still they managed to do so. So now let's read further. But our respite was short-lived. At 4 p.m., black clouds began building up behind us. Within the hour, the wind was black to 40 knots and the seas were getting higher. The weather continued to deteriorate throughout the night, and by dawn on January 5, our situation was again desperate. So what happened? We have read in this paragraph that they have taken meal after 2 days. Why? Because weather was little bit good, it was little better, but what happened on weather become again very worst at 4 p.m. of January 4th. Their respite means the relaxation was short lived. The black clouds began to gather again, and the wind was blowing so hard, and it was getting harder for them. The weather continued to deteriorate throughout the night, and on January 5, the situation was desperate. The situation was not good for them. The weather was the same, even it becoming worse. So then, when I went in to comfort the children, John asked, "Daddy, are we going to die?" I tried to assure him that we could make it. "But Daddy," he went on, "we are not afraid of dying if we can all be together. You and Mummy, Sue and I." I could find no words with which to respond, but I left the children's cabin determined to find the sea with everything I had. To protect the wake walker sideboard, to protect the weakened starboard side, I decided to heave to with the undamaged port hull facing the oncoming waves, using an improvised sea anchor of heavy nylon rope and two 22-liter plastic barrels of paraffin. So what happened then? He just went to children room to comfort them, to assure them that nothing is gone wrong, everything will be fine, he will put everything fine. So what happened? John asked him, our narrator, that, "Daddy, are we going to die?" Then he tried to assure them, nothing wrong is going to happen. And then John again said that it's okay if he said that, "No, we were not afraid to die if we all are together, that father, mother, you and I, if we all you and I and mother and Sue, if we all are together, so I will not be afraid of dying." So he was just pacifying his dad that they were okay, they are not afraid at all, they are very brave kids. Then narrator becomes so much of emotional. He becomes so much determined that no matter what, he is going to make it up. He is going to survive anyhow. He is going to take them, all of them, out of that danger. And what he did, he just went back and he tried everything what he can do. What he did to protect the starboard side, of weakened starboard side. I have told you, the right side of the ship. What he did, he decided to heave it up. Heave it up means to uplift it through the help of undamaged port hull. Hull is just a part, it is part. So what he did, he tried to just to uplift that port hull. It was undamaged, and it was port hull, it was the outer side of that starboard. Outer side, you can say that the outer part, or like a covering. So he just uplift that cover so that waves could not enter into the ship to some extent, okay, because he could not manage to escape from those big high waves, but still he just tried to make those waves do not come to come into the ship. And what he did, he just anchored the ship. He used an improvised anchor. Because they do not have any anchor, he made this anchor, at that time, a spontaneous anchor. How he made it? He used a rope, and he used a 22 liter plastic barrels. Barrel is a cylinder which is fill up of some kerosene or that kind of a thing. So he used that cylinder, he used it as an anchor. So he made a spontaneous anchor there. He used to so that ship do not toss up or tussle up. So he just make sure that that a ship should be stable if there should be some storm, or there should be some high waves like the previous one. So he tried his best to escape now from the coming danger, to protect his ship from the coming dangers and from the waves. Okay, so then what happened next? That evening, Mary and I sat together, holding hands, as the motion of the ship brought more and more water in through the broken planks. We both felt the end was very near. But Wave Walker rode out the storm, and by the morning of January 6, with the wind easing, I tried to get a reading on the sextant. Back in the class chart room, I worked on wind speed. So what happened? At that evening, that Mary and the narrator they were sitting holding hands of each other, because the waves were coming to very high, and the water again started to filling into the ship. And then they realized that their end was very near, because now there was nothing they could do. They have done whatever they can. He tried to uplift the starboard, he tried to anchor the ship, he tried to manage everything, but that all was in vain, almost in vain. So they were just sitting there. So what happened? But Wade Walker made it through the night. Wade Walker just bear the storm during all the night. So in morning January 6, what happened? Wind start easing out. Easing out means that when wind starts softening a little bit, they becoming soft a little bit. And then he tried to to get the readings of sextant. Sextant is a kind of an instrument which is used to measure the distance of longitudes and latitudes. So he use that sextant in the chart room to work out that how far those islands were. So he worked on wind speeds, changes of course, drift and current in an effort to calculate our position. The best I could determine was that we were somewhere in 150,000 kilometers of ocean, looking for a 65-kilometer wide island. So he read the readings of sextant. He worked on wind speeds. He calculated the speeds of wind, the speeds, the courses of winds, the movement of winds, waves and current, the wave currents. He calculated everything, and then he have the almost idea. He could determine the idea that they were somewhere 150 kilometers of the ocean. They have covered that 150,000 kilometer of the distance of the ocean, and they were just looking for the 65-kilometer wide island. So in a vast island, they were just looking for a tiny drop of land, of island, you could say that. While I was thinking, Sue, moving painfully, joined me. The left side of her head was now very swollen, and her blackened eyes narrowed to slits. She gave me a card she had made. On the front, she had drawn caricatures of Mary and me with the words, "Here are some funny people. Did they make you laugh?" I laughed a lot as well. Inside was a message, "Oh, how I love you both." So this card is to say thank you and let's hope for the best. Somehow we had to make it. So now what happened when he was doing everything, when he was thinking about that, how he can escape from that one, and how he is going to find out the location of island. So what happened? Sue moved carefully, means Sue just came to him. She was very much at pain. She painfully joined him, and the left side of her head that was very much swollen, and her blackened eyes, they were narrowed by a slit. There was a long cut in front of her forehead, in between of her forehead, and her head was very much swollen. It had blackened, but still she was so brave. She was not crying with the pain. She was not making fuss out of her pain. She is just very calm. She just endured her pain very well. She's just a small kid, but still she managed to bear her pain very well. And then she made a card for her father, and where she has made the caricatures means funny images. She had made the funny images of her father and her mother Mary, and there was a message that they are very funny people, they make you laugh. And the narrator laughed at that card very much, and there was a message that that they both, that Sue loved her parents so much, and she was thankful for whatever they have done to them. Now narrator becomes so much of emotional, and he was now determined that he has to make it up, he has to overcome it anyhow, because now he is going to do it for his family and his crew member. So he has to make himself and the others to survive. Read your chapter till here. Read this carefully, this chapter. There are so many of the terms as I am telling you again and again, so find out those meanings and try to make the meaning out of this whole paragraphs. The rest we will read, yes, tomorrow.